The O.J. Simpson. The O.J. Simpson murder trial.
There's no doubt that O.J. Simpson is one of the best halfbacks in NFL history, but O.J. had many drawbacks. On June 12, 1994, Orenthal James Simpson, ex-wife Nicole Brown, and her friend Ronald Goldman were found brutally murdered at her house in Brentwood.
The O.J. Simpson White Bronco chase was one of the most surreal moments in the history of Los Angeles criminal justice. 7:30 p.m. After moving onto the Aritzia 91 freeway, the Bronco turned north on the San Diego 405 freeway in Torrance, soon encountering crowds standing on the roadway and overpasses. 7:57 p.m., Simpson and Cowlings arrived at Simpson's Brentwood home and negotiated for surrender began. 8:47 p.m., police issue an all clear after taking Simpson into custody. 9:37 p.m., Simpson arrived at Park Center in police custody. Also, a knife was found on O.J. Simpson's property being tested by LAPD. One key player wouldn't talk for ESPN's Simpson Murder Epic O.J. Made in America.
On July 8, 1994, Kathleen Kennedy ruled that there was enough evidence for O.J. Simpson to stand trial on 2 counts of first-degree murder. These murders were on Nicole Brown, O.J.'s ex-wife, and Ronald Goldman, her friend. This would eventually lead to the major trial we know today as the O.J. Simpson trial. O.J. pled absolutely 100% not guilty.
O.J.'s case went forward to Judge Ito on September 19, 1994. The jury consisted of 8 black people, 1 white, 1 Hispanic, and 2 mixed races. On December 8, 1994, an alternate jury was selected. On January 24, 1995, the trial opened and prosecutors Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden delivered their opening statements. Here's a clip from abcnews.com.
As attorneys and Simpson stood, the jury was ushered in to hear the prosecution's opening statement, its first opportunity to shape the jury's impression of its case.
O.J. Simpson murdered Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman.
Deputy District Attorney Christopher Darden began, stressing that O.J. the athlete, the celebrity, had another, darker side.
But the face you'll see and the man that you will see will be the face of a batterer, a wife beater, an abuser, a controller. You'll see the face of Ron's and Nicole's murderer.
As Simpson, the jury, and the families of the victims listened, Darden carefully detailed Nicole Simpson's 17-year relationship with the defendant. Jealousy, abuse, control, the motives, he said, behind the murder of Nicole Simpson.
He killed her out of jealousy. He killed her because he couldn't have her.
And Ron Goldman's murder, the prosecutor said, was due to circumstance.
You see how it is that Ron Goldman happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Prosecutors said they would present evidence that Simpson had repeatedly abused his wife, a pattern of domestic violence that ended in murder. A 911 call for help in 1989.
You will hear the sound of his hand smacking across her face. You will hear the sound of this defendant beating his wife.
Darden then led jurors through the emotional climax of that event, explaining that when Nicole ran out of the house wearing only sweatpants and a bra, she begged police for help.
The entire time she's yelling, "He's going to kill me. He's going to kill me." And the officer said, Who's going to kill you? And she said, "O.J. is going to kill me."
Nicole Simpson's mother, Juditha, became visibly shaken when the prosecution charged that Simpson stalked his ex-wife after their divorce, staring through a window as she made love with another man.
There was somebody watching. There was someone watching through the window. It was the defendant. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he was looking through Nicole's window, watching her make love to another man.
Then, armed with diagrams of Simpson's residence and pictures of the murder scene, lead prosecutor Marcia Clark explained to jurors that on June 12th, Simpson had time to commit the murders.
The defendant had an hour and 10 minutes of time in which his whereabouts are unaccounted for. And we will show that it was during that hour and 10 minutes that the murders were committed.
Clark then displayed a series of photographs taken at the murder scene. A picture of one of the gloves, a dark knit watch cap, blood everywhere. When the victims' bodies were shown, O.J. Simpson looked away. But the graphic photos, which Judge Ito did not allow to be televised, were seen by the jury. Family members of Ron Goldman and Nicole Simpson broke down and cried.
We have to show you the evidence, and I apologize for the graphic nature of them, but this is the crime that we're here to examine.
Clark continued, showing a photograph of Simpson's cut finger, a blood spot on the door of his white Bronco, the trail of blood drops leading up the entrance of Simpson's home, and a pair of blood-stained socks in his bedroom.
The mere fact that we find blood where there should be no blood, in the defendant's car, in his house, in the driveway, and even on the socks in his very bedroom, at the foot of his bed, that trail of blood from Bundy through his own Ford Bronco and into his house in Rockingham is devastating proof of his guilt.
Now, here's some of the defendant's opening statements.
In the course of my statement today, let me tell you some of the things they didn't tell you yesterday. And we'll have to wonder why they didn't do that. The evidence in this case, we believe, will show that O.J. Simpson is an innocent man wrongfully accused. Darden said yesterday that in Richmond, California, and someplace in Georgia, people were asking questions. Well, I'd like to think in my hometown of Shreveport, LA, my mother-in-law in New Orleans, LA, and other places throughout the country. Today they're asking, why did Mr. Darden spend all that time in domestic violence? This is a murder case. Why'd he do that? He was going to give me an answer. He was going to answer the question for all of America. It's a little presumptuous, don't you think? Because the answer of O.J. Simpson's guilt or innocence can only be determined by you if you are able to do it. None of us were out there on June 12, 1994. We can only deal with the witnesses as they were. It seems to me that this case, the prosecution's case, based on what we heard from the evidence, will show this case is about a rush to judgment, an obsession to win at any cost and by any means necessary. Let me just briefly talk about the witnesses they didn't talk about yesterday, and they didn't tell you about. There's a lady who lives next door that works next door to Mr. Simpson's home in Rockingham. This lady was interviewed, I think as far back as July. She indicated essentially that on this night in question, she came out to walk her dog on several occasions. She knew Mr. Simpson's, she knew his voice, she knew the Bronco. She'd seen it parked there many times. She will indicate that when she came out to walk her dog at about 8 o'clock, the Bronco was parked at the curb there.
This lady will testify that she was out with her dog and saw that Bronco parked at the particular angle at about 8:30 on June 12, 1994, a Sunday evening. She will indicate to you that she heard Mr. Simpson's voice at or about the time he and Mr. Cato Cralin went to McDonald's to get the hamburger, and that she could hear, because her quarters are right across the fence there, that after he left she heard something very strange. She heard a prowler, as she described, out there in the yard, with the hard-soled shoes, and she was concerned about this prowler. And then she heard Mr. Simpson's voice again at about 11. She could hear his voice at the time, as though he was leaving. We know that's correct because he's leaving to go on a trip to Chicago for a pre-planned trip, and then she didn't hear his voice anymore. Despite the fact that he was never convicted for the crime, there's still a lot of evidence to prove that O.J. Simpson did murder Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Some of this evidence being the 911 call against him and the history of Simpson's violence against Nicole. Another piece of evidence presented in the trial was the fact that one pair of Aries Light gloves size XL was left at Bundy's and the other one was found at Simpson's. There were many reasons why O.J. Simpson did not get convicted, and one major reason was because the gloves found at the crime scene did not fit him. Here's a clip of O.J. Simpson trying on the gloves found at the crime scene.
Was there a model or style of glove that you shipped to Bloomingdale's exclusively?
Yes.
Ms. Vimage, who are you employed by?
Bloomingdale's.
Let me show you the glove that has been marked. Item number 9, the Rockingham glove. And this glove is exclusive to Bloomingdale's?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at that glove, can you tell us the name or the style?
The right hand of style 70263.
And what style number was that?
70263.
Which glove?
Eris Leather Light Glove.
During 1990, how many Eris Isotoner leather light gloves, brown in color, size extra large, did Bloomingdale's purchase?
Approximately 300.
Have you ever seen it sold anywhere in the world other than in Bloomingdale's?
No, I have not.
Is that a Bloomingdale's credit card sales receipt?
Yes.
So the gloves I showed you in court today then fit the descriptions given on this sales receipt?
Yes.
And is there a signature on the credit card receipt?
Yes.
Can you read that signature to us?
Nicole Brown.
Your Honor, at this time, the people would ask that Mr. Simpson step forward and try on the glove recovered at Bundy as well as the glove recovered at Rockingham.
And I think so the jury can see, I'll ask Mr. Simpson to stand. That's People 77. Fine.
Have a problem placing the glove on his hand?
Sustained. This is People's 164A. Is that the right-hand glove? All right. All right. Thank you, counsel.
O.J. Simpson was found not guilty for the murders on Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Here's a clip of O.J. being acquitted.
All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury? Mrs. Robertson.
Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information. Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, in the matter of the people of the State of California versus Orenthal James Simpson. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, further find the special circumstance that the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, has in this case been convicted of at least one crime of murder of the first degree and one or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be not true. Signed this second day of October 1995, Juror 230. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict? So say you one, so say you all.
All right, counsel, Mr. Simpson, would you be seated, please? Let's have it quiet in the courtroom, please. All right, Mrs. Robertson, would you please poll the jurors?
Poll the jury. Juror number 1, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 2, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 3, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 4, as to count 1, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 6, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 7, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 8, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 9, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 10, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number 11, as to count 1, is this your verdict? Juror number 12, as to count 1, is this your verdict?
12 years later, O.J. Simpson was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 33 years in prison. Here's a quick video of him being convicted.
All right, for Mr. Simpson. All right, Mr. Simpson, in addition to the $25 administrative assessment and the $150 DNA fee, I'm going to sentence you as follows. That's 6. Count 1, conspiracy to commit a crime, 1 year in the county jail. Count 2, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, a minimum term of 12 months, max term of 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 2 to run concurrent to count 1. Count 3, conspiracy to commit robbery, a minimum term of 12 months, max term of 48 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 3 to run concurrent to count 2. Count 4, burglary while in possession of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 26 months, a maximum term of 120 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 4 to run concurrent to count 3. Count 5, the first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon, a fixed term of 15 years, parole eligibility beginning after 5 years, with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll run concurrent to count 4. Count 6, first-degree kidnapping with use of a deadly weapon, a fixed term of 15 years with parole eligibility beginning after 5 years with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll run concurrent to count 5. Robbery with use of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 60 months, a maximum term of 180 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections with a consecutive 12 to 72, and again the enhancement because of the increased harm that the gun posed. Count 7 will run concurrent to count 6. Count 8, robbery with use of a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 60 months, a max term of 180 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections with a consecutive 12 to 72. That'll be concurrent to count 7. The assault with a deadly weapon, a minimum term of 18 months, a maximum term of 72 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. That'll run consecutive to count 8. Count 10, minimum term of 18 months, a maximum term of 72 months in the Nevada Department of Corrections. Count 10 will run consecutive to count 9. Credit for time served is 64 days. That concludes today's sentencing. We're adjourned.
I'm sorry. We need to renew, now that he's been sentenced, it now becomes a post-conviction bail motion. I got it. Read under Nevada NRS 178.488, we renew our motion for bail. Now that sentence has been imposed, we renew and adopt all the arguments made pre-sentencing and pre-conviction.
Okay. And you're joining. Both motions are denied. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
And that was our project. Bye.